In this video, you're going to learn what's happening in the tech market and why everyone is being fired right now this year. So let's go. So 2023, you've probably noticed that a lot of technology companies such as Google, Microsoft, and even Facebook have started firing a lot of people. No matter where you are in the world, it seems to be affecting everyone right now. And you might notice that some of the people that you might know right now are already fired, made redundant. Even you might have been made redundant. And if you're going through this process, you might want to learn why people are getting fired from these tech companies. So just recently, Google laid off 150,000 employees, Amazon laid off 50,000 employees, and Microsoft has laid off 220,000 employees. That's a lot of people. And the scary thing about this is that these are big companies. These are companies that are too big to fail, right? So the thing is that you might be thinking that these technology companies, it's indestructible and nothing can happen to them. But unfortunately, everywhere you look, you're seeing these technology companies firing a lot of people. And there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now. So in 2023, we're going to examine the reasons why a lot of technology companies is laying off a lot of people this year. So number one is that they overhired too many people during COVID. So during COVID, things were, a lot of people were working from home, right? You know the story. People were working from home. People were doing Zoom meetings, team meetings. You don't need to go to the office anymore. And obviously expenses were a bit lower for these companies. And there was this massive boom in terms of technology workers working from home. So as a result of this, a lot of companies were hiring a lot of people working from home. As a result of over hiring all these people during COVID, now that we're out of COVID, now these companies have a lot of liabilities and they're starting to sack a lot of people just to try and maintain the books. Another one is also mergers and acquisitions. So a lot of technology companies, what they've done is that even though they're profitable, they've started to acquire a lot of other companies. And when they acquire other companies, they merge into these other companies. They merge their employees into other employees. They get all these resources and skill sets together. And as they hold on to them, slowly over time, they get rid of the people that they've merged into and they keep the ones that were initially in the original business. I know it's a bit sneaky, but it happens all the time. And in my opinion, if companies always say, oh, we're family, we'll look after you, and we'll take care of our employees. Don't believe any of that stuff. They will fire you on the spot when the crap goes down. Another reason why there's a lot of technology layoffs this year is that they're restructuring the company. As the years go on, they're focusing on different areas of the business. They might not focus too much on the technology side of things. They might want to focus on more face-to-face now because they don't need too much of that technology work from home. I've started to notice the market at the moment is that a lot of companies are getting their employees to come to the office on a full-time basis, not a part-time, but more full-time basis. And we've really tend to enjoy this whole working from home for the past couple of years. It's been a really great honeymoon, right? But now, at the moment, we're being asked to come into the office at least 3 times, maybe even full-time into the office. Another major reason why there's a lot of technology layoffs at the moment is that they've failed to meet financial targets. So this results down to sales, results down to marketing. That's all it is. Companies are struggling to make money at the moment, and it could be because of the economy, it could be because of the sales team, whatever it is. If they're not making enough profit in the company, they can't run the company, so therefore they have to lay off a lot of people in order to maintain the books, in order to maintain the expenses, and for them not to go under. So the first thing they do, get rid of all the non-essential employees, and then they keep the other ones just to keep them running. And unfortunately, those people who are not laid off, they actually accumulate a lot more work. So they actually get a lot more stress, they become overworked, and as a result, they can also resign as well because they're just overworked with all additional work that is out of their job description. There's another reason why there's a lot of layoffs this year in the technology space is due to the fact of the economic contraction. So in 2023, there is a lot of talk about a recession this year. This recession has been talked about for quite some time, but this seems to be the year that it's actually going to happen. And in Australia, we've got a lot of interest rate rises at the moment. There's been about I don't know, about 7 different interest rate hikes. And if you have a mortgage at the moment, that you know the pain of having these interest rate rises. Let's say that you own a $700,000 home. These interest rate rises is actually accumulating, and you're ending up spending maybe additional $30,000 on top of what you're initially paying for your mortgage. And it really sucks. And as a business, as a company, they've taken out loans, and these loans have these high interest rates slapped on top of it. So therefore they have to pay more money for these loans that they've taken out. So therefore all this money that's being spent, all this cost of living that's being increased, cost of petrol, the cost of living, everything goes up. So therefore it's becoming more expensive to hold on to their company. So therefore straight away the first thing they do is start firing people that is non-essential. So the question is, how do you deal with this? So if you've been laid off, if you've been made redundant, I'm sorry to hear that. However, there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is plenty of jobs out there if you just look, and you might notice that there's a lot more competition, and it is true. On average, I've been looking out there, and I've seen recently there was a job that's advertised. It's just a BDM sales position, and there's about 20 to 30 people, applicants, that is already applied for it, as opposed to when there wasn't that many people applying for it. There might have been 10 applicants, but now it seems to have doubled. But don't let that discourage you. There is still a lot of opportunity out there. There's a lot of other companies that's still hiring. I've noticed that there's been a surge of new companies that are starting up. There's a new surge of medium-sized companies that's hiring a lot of people. So don't get discouraged, just keep applying. And I always tend to remember that even though there's companies out there that's contracting and having a lot of struggle during this economic times, there's other companies out there that's absolutely booming and making a lot of money during this time. So it's not one way. There's always another industry. If the industry is declining, there's always another industry that's reaping the benefit. So my advice is that for you to just go out there, just keep applying for jobs, keep showing up, keep going to those interviews. You might have to work even harder. So instead of when the economy was really good, you might have to just go to maybe about 10 interviews and get one job. Right now, if you might have to work even harder. You might have to do 20 interviews, you might have to do 50 interviews, whatever it takes. But if that's the case, then you have to do it. I remember during 2020, then I was fired from my job, and I was only there for about 6 months, I believe. And everyone was scared, and I was worried because we didn't know what was happening. It was the start of the pandemic. We don't know what to do, right? So then what I did was I just kept applying, and it was really hard to get a job, but eventually I found something. There was a company that was still making money during the pandemic. People still needed to eat food, right? So I went into, instead of technology, I went into the food space, and I started working for a food company. So that was interesting. So don't get discouraged. Right now, technology might be hard to get into, or might be easy, depending on where you are. But just keep applying, and also remember to stay positive, because this is really a blessing in disguise. You'll find that there's a lot of challenges that's been thrown your way, but then I always believe that uncertainty always unfolds into something beautiful, and you might not see a solution at the moment. You might not see a pathway right now, but things will tend to unfold. And I believe in a higher power, is that if you've been put in this situation, then there's a reason for it. We don't know what the reason is, but if you fast forward in future, you'll look back and you'll clearly see the reason why this is happening right now. So try and stay positive, and just keep applying for jobs every day, or might even start a business. You might start a business, or whatever it is. See what is in front of you and just do it. It might not be the right path, might be the right path, we don't know. But just keep showing up every day, stay positive, and you'll get there. So if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.